And so there, it's right there. And then I would go and, like I said, the Psalm 139, I do think that it's a reasonable rendering to look at it and say, I formed you, I knit you together in your mother's womb.
Yeah, and I guess I don't want to rewrite the Bible in my head, right? Like I don't want to interpret it in the way that I would like it to be. I guess I just don't see a meaningful reason as to why God would view it in the way that you're talking about, other than like the convenience factor. But again, like when we're talking about what humans value as people, what biologically we value as people, and even what God values in people when he's talking about works, when he's talking about faith, these things exist as like a kind of a cognitive thing. To be able to have faith is a cognitive process. To be able to do these things, the values of works, the values of faith in relation to that, I feel like those things are really important theologically and can only exist in the ways that we understand it as a capacity for consciousness. Now, I understand the argument that you're making that like, given all normal factors, a person would grow into, or a conception would grow into a person, and that is altering some form of state. But I guess I don't see why God would disagree with this altering of state, other than, I guess like what nature points, like it seems uncomfortable. I don't necessarily, because it also seems uncomfortable to like carry a baby you don't want for 9 months and then birth it and go through all the pains of financial struggles. That also seems uncomfortable too. And I don't know if God would want to will that pain into existence either necessarily, unless you could point to like a very solid reason as to why he values souls at conception.
I guess you're trying to contrast the, does God will somebody to have pain in childbirth? Is that kind of?
Well, it's like, why would he value the conception, like at the moment of conception, that soul? Why would he value that more than the current soul, when there are other points that maybe the Bible might be able to point to as when that soul gets added? Like maybe God thinks the soul gets added at 20 weeks when the capacity for consciousness happens, or when pain happens. You know what I mean? So you'd want to, what I need from you, I guess, to really make this make sense is like why God commands that the soul happens at conception.
Yeah, so I don't believe that ensoulment is a process. I do think biologically we develop as a process in looking at that, but we see that there is a beginning of a human organism that is right there that has life, and of course, if given, like you said, just in natural circumstances, it is going to grow into a fully mature human being. But it's always a human, right there.